send Amber a message real quick.
We'll get into these later
Tell you
on.
what, I thought I was standing at the gate of hell
That's why
yesterday.
we meet out there once a week.
Well, I
We
was
meet up at least.
outside, but I was
That's one of my
underneath the
favorite places to
roof.
go.
We just got the roof on the
We
building.
usually get up there pretty easy.
And I was moving some stuff around, getting ready to, for the
She was
materials
taking
that I
the trains
delivered
go
today.
by.
I was gonna put them in there.
Jeff loves that. He says, yeah, I love playing
Stop.
there.
Yeah.
I would just, all of a sudden, I started feeling funny, and I was
Yeah.
just, and so I just quit.
Yep. Yeah, today was a lot better day to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Some Maynard went out vacation and
They're so accommodating.
fishing trip up there, so it's been a
Yes.
absolutely insane week so
He
far.
says.
Who went up
in fact,
there?
we got there, he says,
Minor age,
Oh.
festival.
got a bunch of old guys that go off the front
Did you
lines.
loan him your boat?
Get you off on 10.
No.
Okay. This is good. That's the
No, they
hardest
took
course
a
anyway. It's rated
pontoon up, they
number
go
one.
like 2 or 3 times a year.
It goes
So
around
they took
that
a
way
pontoon
and
up
across
on
that
the first trip.
lake
Usually
to that
that's
swamp.
Brian Dorman just bought
Yeah,
a
you've got the
pontoon.
water
It's
on
like
the left.
Yeah.
26
Footer,
footer,
and then you gotta get over to
Water
26
on the right.
footer. It's got a 200 horse motor on it. It's like,
Yeah, it's just get the back
it's
nine
a- it's a
behind us.
tri-tune.
Yeah.
You want to store it in my shed? And I said, I'm sorry, but you know, we were getting a pontoon. I'll call the meeting to order. We have an invocation.
Loving God, we meet to serve our community, to use our resources wisely and well, to represent all members of our community fairly, to make decisions that promote the common good. We recognize our responsibility to the past and to the future, and the rights and the needs of both individuals and community. As trusting servants, as trusted servants, we seek blessings on our deliberations and our efforts here this evening. We pray for the power to be gentle, the strength to be forgiving, the patience to be understanding, and the endurance to accept the consequences of holding what we believe to be right. May we put our trust in the power of good to overcome evil and the power of love to overcome hatred. We pray for the vision to see the faith to believe in a world emancipated from violence, a world where fear shall no longer lead us to commit injustice, nor selfishness make us bring suffering to others. Help us to devote our lives, thoughts, and energy to the task of making peace. Inspire us to always act in accordance with what is best for our community and our fellow citizens. We ask these things in your name, O God. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have any changes to the agenda? No? Okay. Public comments? No public comments? Okay. Action agenda, minutes of the August 7th meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion from Sam. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Chuck. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Appropriation ordinance number 15. Do I have a motion to approve or discussion?
I move to approve appropriation ordinance number 15.
Second.
I have a motion from Keaton, a second from Christie. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Ambulance rehab.
If you remember, several months back, we had an ambulance that got tipped over on its side. It's been totaled out by the insurance company. They gave us $42,973 for it. They depreciate pretty fast off that, so we've been trying to figure out what we're gonna do. We still have one of the 6.0 ambulances here. And we've had good luck with remounting a box, and that's Medic 2 that we bought from Osage. So we looked at two different companies, Arrow and Osage, which are the closest ones to do remounts. Osage came in a low quote for us at $63,000. They're a month longer than Arrow, but we've bought other ambulances for them. The customer service is good through them, so we feel that month is worth the customer service and continuing to work with somebody. Plus, they were the lowest bids.
They've also given us an opportunity to purchase I guess like my words aren't coming to me, but that kind of a tester that
Yeah.
had,
If that demonstrator, that's the one that we tipped over, and they're also, when the accident happened, they called, and if we needed one right now, if we was short, they would have brought one up to us. So the customer service there is extremely worth the
Yeah.
extra 30 days.
well, it's, I think that relationship is valuable enough, but being a low bid by 6,000 kind of makes it it's a
Yeah.
pretty simple deal.
Okay,
Any questions?
no?
So what they will do is they'll take care of transporting the unit we have here. It'll be that box, so the guys are familiar with it. If you guys approve it, that's what we have.
So they come get it?
They'll come get it.
Yeah.
They'll take care of everything, and
Take
we'll
it.
just go pick it up when it's done.
Okay, okay. Do I have a motion to approve Medic 5, the Osage, from Osage?
I so move.
Okay. I'll second.
I have a motion from Christie, a second from Sam. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Thanks, Eric. Motion carries. KDOT project programming for 81.
Yes, back in first part of May, we applied for a city connecting link improvement program for 81 highway out there from the south city limits back into north of College Drive there. They said we was accepted, and this here is part of the application we send in, and basically we're committing money to this when we do this. So, and KDOT will match up to $1 million on this. So anything up to that $1 million, we're gonna pay 10%. And then anything, once it gets to 1,100,000, 11 something, after that, it's 100% to cities.
Okay.
So we should be under that. Ken's estimate's underneath that, so if we do go over Ken's estimate, we're still good up to the $1 million.
Okay. So we're at 788, about 788 right now, and
Yes,
we feel that's pretty good.
yes.
Okay. Any discussion?
How far south are the city limits?
What's that?
How far south?
You know where you turn to go in, the South City Park entrance? Right there,
Okay.
Yeah, it's getting pretty rough in
yeah.
that area. Any other discussion? Do I have a motion?
Move to approve the mayor sign the project programming request with KDOT Project US 81 Highway southbound lanes from South City limits to north of College Drive.
I'll second.
I have a motion from Chuck, a second from Sam. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ron.
I was gonna let you guys know too, that there is a process that we have to go through, a consultant selection process.
Right.
And I may ask a couple of you if you wanna be on the board to do that.
Okay.
But when they after they get this, they're gonna send me an approval letter to go ahead, so it'll be after that.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Managers report?
Mayor and Commissioners, on Monday, our department heads put together a very well-done safety training for all of our staff. It was a mandatory attendance, but everybody did a great job attending, paying attention, participating. Went over topics, everything from lockout, tagout, trenching and excavation, even did a stop the bleed training, and then our normal going over the employee benefits and things. But definitely wanted to share with you the great work that all the department heads did putting that together. It was very well received. We did figure out our training room is a little bit on the small side though, so for everybody to get ready in there. So we might have to blow out a wall someday, but just, no, I'm teasing. I won't do that. Monday afternoon, Kim Reynolds and I went down to Salina for the KDOT local consult meeting, and went pretty well. We got to advocate again for additional length to the runway through the KAIP program, and that was very well received. We stayed in the afternoon for kind of the visioning session by KDOT, and we talked through, they're doing a method called scenario planning, where they look out to 2045 and they say, if this scenario exists, how can we plan for it to meet transportation needs in the future? And they're lumping in rural broadband technology needs in with that transportation need. So it was an interesting discussion, a lot of focus on access to healthcare, to education, and just basically people and freight transportation. So that was really interesting to hear. I think that we still have some work to do to educate our folks that are doing the work in Topeka as far as what it means to be living and working and playing in rural Kansas, and what that means to make sure that those needs are met well into the future. So we want to continue to advocate for that. On Tuesday, we did have the property closing for the property that you so graciously donated to Cloud County Health Center, and that went very well, very smooth, and so the property has been closed on, so that's one more check item off the list that the hospital has to do to get one step closer to their funding to the new building, so that was really good. Tomorrow evening, there'll be the community kickoff. You may have seen that advertised on Facebook, on different websites, and on the radio community calendar. That is a joint pep rally, basically, between USD 333, Concordia High School, and the Cloud County Community College. Together, they'll have a bonfire, a meal, performances by the cheer and dance programs. The marching panthers will be out there. The coaches of each of the fall sports will speak a little bit, just getting everybody kind of excited about the fall sports season. Would encourage you all to attend if you don't have any other plans there. Meal tickets are $5 and can be purchased at the door. It's from 6 to 8 at the fairgrounds.
Okay.
So that's all I have. Does anybody have any questions?
Couple things on the meeting tomorrow at the airport.
Yes.
Now, who again all is going to be there?
This is basically like an airport inspection by our regional FAA reps. They
Yeah.
come around every once in a while.
Okay.
Jason Kniff, our regional rep that we do a lot of work with, Todd Rastifer, he's also there with the FAA, and another gentleman that I haven't met yet, Tim McLaren.
Okay.
So yeah, just the regional reps, they check to make sure all the safety things are in place, especially after some of the improvements that we made. It puts eyes and boots on the ground at our airport, so as we talk about it, they look at the GIS photos, they can see it kind of three-dimensional, and make sure they know exactly what we're talking about.
Do any of the commissioners need to be there or anything? I'm not going to be able to attend, but.
Yeah, it's entirely up to you. They anticipate being here about 30 minutes. I know
Okay.
that we'll go out there and kind of greet them and talk with them, but really it's more of an opportunity for like Ron and Brian as our FBO to ask questions of them to make sure that we're following protocol
Yeah.
just right. If you want to come out there and attend and just tell them thank you, especially for the recent approval of the additional width,
Yeah.
that would be welcome, but you
Yeah.
know, it won't be a formal conversation. It
Okay.
won't be a formal ask or in-depth discussion time.
Okay. Okay.
Any other questions?
That's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Amy.
Any staff reports? I have a question, an update on the alley between 2nd and 3rd Street.
The sewer.
Yeah, yeah.
I just talked to them today, and they said it'd be another 10 days before they get up here and start drilling for the dewatering.
Okay.
It's just been backed up with, because it's not them that drills the wells, they have to subcontract that
They're at the
out.
mercy of the subcontractor?
Mhm.
Okay.
So,
I just had a couple people ask me about that.
yeah,
and so
the
I just-
hole's
Yeah.
still there,
Okay.
but the rest of the alley's done
And
cleaned up.
the one, the first one is all,
Yeah, it's-
I drove by the other day, looks like it's all taken care of
Yep.
now and opened up.
There's a little bit of cleanup in
Yeah.
one of the lots to do, but
Yeah.
other than that, it's pretty good.
Okay.
So,
All right.
thanks.
Thanks, Jeremy. Stacy?
Every year before the league conference, they ask us for you to elect someone who's attending to be a voting delegate. And we have, because of our population, we can have 2 as well as 2 alternate, but I believe just the mayor and city manager are attending, so that's okay. I'll put you 2 down as voting delegates. And the voting's at the annual business meeting the Monday at lunch,
Okay.
so
Okay.
if that works.
That's fine. Thanks.
Anybody else is going?
When is it, Stacy?
What?
When is it?
It's over Columbus Day usually.
This is October 14th, the business meeting, so it starts the Saturday before 12th to the 14th.
I might be interested in going this year.
Okay. So I'll put you down for alternate.
I think I'm gonna be gone. You said the 12th, or the 12th through the 14th? I think I might be gone that week, so if you wanna fill in,
I
that'd be
think
great.
I would too, because I'm still president of the Commissioners Association.
So, okay. So then we need two who will be the voting delegates and one will be alternate.
I'll be an alternate.
Okay,
If you're certain you're gonna do it.
all right.
If they don't do it for
If you're already gonna, if you're sure you're gonna do it, I will plan on it, but I don't know for sure yet.
Okay,
I'll get with you guys though this week as far as.
Okay.
okay, and I'll go if I'm gonna be here. I'll get that confirmed probably within the next week. Okay. Mayor and Commissioners, Sam?
Nothing.
Chuck?
Don't have anything, other, one thing, preach to the choir. I'm sure all the Concordians that are watching this evening, just continue to invite you to direct grass clippings into the yard instead of into the sewers. I know it's been kind of an active growing season, but it helps with, I think a lot of folks are disappointed with the blue-green algae warnings that we have our recreation areas and don't necessarily realize the fertilizer role that plays in that, and grass clippings all plays into it. So please pick up after yourselves.
Okay. I want to take this opportunity to thank Amy and all of the staff for the work that goes behind dealing with KIP, KDOT, FAA, Dane Hansen, all those places. And what's important about it is that we really concentrate our efforts in getting funding and grants and sources of help from anywhere that we can. And I think you're doing a great job. And some of it is normal procedure, but some of it is really digging and going the extra mile and contacting people and just not just stopping with no on one thing, but just keep on going and keep on trudging through. And I think we're doing a great job doing that. And I just want to thank everybody that's involved, because and also with the due diligence, getting things from equipment to ambulances and everything else. There's a lot of work that goes behind that, and I know people can say that's your job, but going through the process to get the information on everything and the specs, and go out and ask the questions and the tough questions and try to get us the best deal. That's what it's all about, and I appreciate it. Also, I appreciate the what's going on with our state legislature and the governor and her staff in trying to direct a lot of attention to rural Kansas. And it was an interesting quote the other day from the Department of Commerce when he said that we're the farm team for Johnson County and Sedgwick County. I just didn't really know how to take that, but it's we need all the help we can get in rural Kansas, and rural Kansas has a lot to offer. And 82% of the land in the state, 82% of the land is owned by a very small group, is the rural group, but it's concentrated in the big cities as far as the population and whatnot. So I'm real happy that we're starting to focus in on rural Kansas. So that's all I have.
I don't have anything this evening.
I have a couple things. In tonight's Blade, there was 5 years ago today, we agreed to establish an arts commission. Have we heard much from that commission? I think maybe the last thing that happened was we established it. So,
Who's on it?
well, one of the gals in the front office, yeah. And some people who aren't here, don't live here any longer. So, it does occur to me that we have a fairly, I would say, a thriving arts community. And maybe we could encourage them to become more involved with that. I mean, I think that at one time somebody had a passion about that, and then we just kind of let the ball drop, perhaps. The other thing is that I talked to somebody on West 18th Street, and actually, the police chief reminded me of this. And there still is evidently a concern about people going fast down that street, the one that we just resurfaced, replaced. So, we might give that some thought again.
Yeah, since my mom lives at Marquee, I always kind of, sometimes I'll just sit back and watch and, or set at a stop sign a little, or go a different way and set at an intersection and stuff. And when I go down that street, I'm going the speed limit, but it seems like you're going pretty fast when you go by. And I look at cars going down that, and I'm not saying it isn't an issue and stuff, but the chief and I've talked about it before. It's cars look like they're really going down it fast. Now there are cars that do go through there pretty quick. And the other day I was stopped at the light, and I saw, or the stops by the cemetery at the stop signs, and somebody just didn't even hardly put their brakes on and went through the stop sign. And you'll see every now and then you see a car is definitely speeding, but a lot of them I think are pretty much within the thing, but it sure looks like they're going. Now I noticed that on my street, that it looks like people are going 45 miles an hour down it, and I know they're probably, they're going 20 or 25 maybe. But I think it's worth looking at and checking into further, because it is a nice street to
It sure is.
zip down.
What did you find when you did those, you had the 45 or 35 mile per hour marquee out there, the big sign? You know what I'm talking about? Oh, it's you I should be talking to.
All that does is tell the people the speed they're going.
Okay, so we
It
didn't
don't
do some
record
kind of a
that.
survey?
No.
Okay.
Unless you guys know.
No.
And we talked about it this morning too, and we're gonna put them speed trailer back out there.
Okay.
Probably Monday or something.
Yeah. Yeah, especially with school starting and,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah. There is a lot of traffic on that road, on
Yeah.
that street.
there is.
So.
Yeah, a lot of pedestrian traffic going up State Street towards the college too.
Yeah.
I was just gonna mention, since we have all this discussion, we do have officers up there watching it, and tickets are being written. So
Oh, good.
it's not being ignored, but yeah.
I know there are times I'll be, as a passenger, offering some constructive criticism.
Oh, boy.
And always well received. But I'll lean back and look at the speedometer, it's like 25.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I shut my mouth. I try to shut it before it opens most of the time. But if it does feel like you're going pretty fast,
Yeah.
then I realize maybe that's just the slow pace of small town life that's gotten a hold of me, where 28 starts kind of pushing that limit. So the perception can be very different than the reality, but I'm glad we're addressing it.
Yeah.
I think it's the expansion joints that make it.
But it sounds,
Yeah.
On that interstate.
yeah.
Or old age.
Not that. I guess I'm old now. You know, Chrissy, as you were talking about the Arts Commission, I wonder if one of the roles that could be performed by this commission, if it's gonna be a city-driven, is work on trying to find a way to coordinate planning so that we try to reduce some of the duplication of events. Because I think that that's a need that I've heard from folks on the Brown Grand Board are frustrated because this event's being planned there, and folks on the fair are frustrated because events are being planned here. So maybe there's some kind of opportunity that we have to
It's not a bad idea, actually.
take on as a role to try to
Yeah.
spread these out. Because it seems like if there's one event tonight, there's going to be three, and it's difficult.
Yeah.
So, just a thought.
Okay. Is that it? Okay. We're gonna have an executive session tonight. I need a motion to go into executive session. We think that'll be, what, about 10 minutes? I think it would go 15 minutes, okay.
I move that the city commission recess into executive session for the preliminary discussion of acquisition of real estate, KSA 75-4319B6, with Amy Lang and Justin Farrell in attendance, and to reconvene the city commission, in the city commission chamber at 6:10.
Second. I have a motion from Christie, a second from Chuck. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion-
I won't be here when they come back in here. I move that the city commission recess into executive session for preliminary discussion of acquisition of real estate, KSA 75-4319B6, with Amy Lang and Justin Farrell in attendance, and to reconvene in the city commission chamber at 6:15 p.m.
I have a motion from Chuck, a second from Christie. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
5 minutes. She brought you out early.
Dagnabbit.
10 seconds.
We were supposed to get 5 minutes, but Chuck lowballed me, and he really only gave us 4 minutes.
4 minutes and 27 seconds.
No action was taken in the executive session. Do I have a motion to adjourn? I have a motion from Sam.
Second.
Second from Keaton.
Everyone.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Meeting is adjourned.